So today I'm going to teach you a little bit more about the M1 Finance borrow feature. Now, this feature overall is going to allow you to actually borrow against your investing portfolio, which is really cool if you don't want to be pulling any of your investments out to be able to use some extra cash. Now, you have different options of how you can use this money. So what we're going to actually do is hop onto the computer so you guys can actually take a look at my investing portfolio and also see how the borrow feature works, because I've been using it for quite a few months now and I absolutely love it. So we're hopping here on my dividend investing portfolio through M1 Finance. And as we go through this, if you're somebody who hasn't already started using M1 Finance and wants to get started, I'm gonna have a link for them in the show notes down below. That does actually support out the channel, but it does give you a nice little bonus for using our link, and it helps us produce more free content just like this for you guys. Now, what we're gonna be doing here on the main side of the platform is actually going to the section way up here that it says borrow. So you can see right over here, it says the words borrow. Now, once you have your account fully opened up, this will automatically be available for you to click on, but there are going to be some stipulations before you can start using it. One of the biggest stipulations is that you're going to need over $5,000 in net value into your account. So that means making sure that you have either put in some money and have it grown, or having over $5,000 available in investments to be able to go into this feature and have it unlocked for you. Now, when you go into it, it does tell you about the 5,000 and how if you are a regular M1 Finance user, just the basic free version, you can pull out money up to 35% of the value that you have in there. So if you got $5,000, you can do 35% of that at 3.5% interest. Now, if you have the M1 Finance Plus feature, which is a paid version, you can actually lower that all the way down to 2% and save even more money. Now, the really cool thing about this is you can use that for anything you want. You don't have to actually use that money to invest more into your portfolio, which you can do, and it can be a little dangerous, so be cautious with that option. But you can also pull that money out and pay down other debts or use it to buy a car or pretty much anything else that you want, depending on how much you can pull out. So what we're gonna actually do is click on this borrowed feature that we have over here. All right, so I actually moved myself off screen right over here for just a moment so we can see a little bit more of what this page has to offer for us. So the first thing you're gonna see is the amount that we're currently borrowing, which is over $10,000. Now, what you can also see here is your credit limit towards the top, and it says $11,600. Now that is 35% of what we currently have available in our value, which is that $33,000 in our investments. Now you can see here, it tells you how much you're currently using. And if you want to borrow more, you can just go ahead and click on the borrow feature. Or if you want to pay some back, you can go ahead and click on pay back. Now it tells me my current base rate, because I am an M1 Finance Plus member, it is only 2%. And it currently tells me how much more I have available to invest with or pull out of, or whatever I want to do with this money. I have about $1,600 left. Now, if for some reason the market drops tomorrow to the point where my 35% is less than the $1,600 I could pull out, that pretty much will go away from me as far as an option to pull that money out. And if for some reason it actually becomes less of a value on my portfolio than the current amount I have borrowed, no worries. There is, of course, a little bit of leeway in how much the account can go down. They have this nifty little status chart right over here that kind of tells you where you are in your borrowing versus, what you have in your portfolio. So it tells you right over here at this bottom section here, how much you actually had to have before you get what they call a maintenance call. So if my portfolio drops 58%, which is about $19,468, it will automatically start selling off some of my stocks. Now, of course, I don't want that to happen, so I can either go ahead and pay back some of my loan, or I can invest more into my portfolio. Of course, that is 100% up to you, and definitely do some research on which way you should go. Now, right over here, you can see with the billing, currently tells you when your next bill is due, tells you how much interest you've accrued so far with the current month that you're in, and then how much you're projected to be paying in your actual bill once it's come due. Now here it's your activities, of course, so you can see, when you borrowing, how much you pulled out, and then if we kind of hit the more button here, it'll tell you when you are paying back your amounts. So when you're going through this process, it'll have all that information in here for you so you can keep track of how everything is running. Now let's go ahead and say that I actually want to borrow some more money. So if I click on that borrow button right over here, it takes us to this one-time transfer, and I can type in whatever amount I want to transfer out. So let's say I do want to pull out another $1,000. I can choose to have it go into my regular bank, my M1 spend account, or my dividend investing portfolio. Let's say I want to just pull it to my regular bank. The really nice thing over here, it will tell me my current rate, which is the 2%, and estimated amount that I'm gonna pay every single month for borrowing that money. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you wanna use this money for anything, you can either pay back other loans, you can use it to buy cars, depending on how much you can pull out, or you can even reinvest back into your investing portfolio. But of course, that does have some higher risk with it, so make sure you learn more about that. I mentioned earlier, if you wanna check out M1 Finance, if you don't have them already, I'll have a link for you in the show notes down below. Definitely check them out. Supports the channel, but it gets you that nice little bonus for using our link. Now, I want you to actually learn more about M1 Finance and not just this borrow feature. So click on this video right over here to keep learning more about this awesome platform. My name is Dennis, and I'll see you in that next video.